Hey guys, Stoic here. So if you watched my pre-release 1.14.3 pre-release 1 farm, it's broke. If you built it, it's broke in pre-release 2. Good news is though, as you can see by the structure of this farm, that we are not going to have to do a lot to the pre-release 1 farm we made. We're going to have to make a couple of modifications, and then it's just a matter of adding on to it. All right. The biggest change is that essentially we can no longer set our villagers into a 24-hour panic and just expect to get golems. They are required to sleep and required to hit their workstation. I think it seems like once every 24,000, once every game day, 24,000 ticks. I'm not sure the exact time frame, but you do need to keep them getting a little bit of sleep, getting a little bit of work time. The good news is there doesn't seem to be any time requirement for that. So what the big change we're going to make to this farm is, and I hope this doesn't put you off, but we're going to add redstone. I've never done I had never done a redstone iron farm before this, but I think it's going to be kind of required in order to get our villagers their sleep and work time. And essentially what we're going to do is we've got the walls that are around our zombies are now going to have pistons underneath them that are going to push those walls up to block them from the villagers, to give our villagers some time to get some sleep and some work time. But we're only going to give them 8 seconds, and that's all it took. So what I have set up is a we'll get into but basically is a hopper timer. If you're familiar with it, I have 2 of them, and they're offset by 8 seconds. They're full. They got 5 stacks in both of them, 5 stacks of stone in both of them. So I'm trying to extend the time as long as I can, but it basically comes out to 2,560 ticks. Every 2,560 ticks, and there's 24,000 ticks in a day. Every 2,560 ticks, the pistons will fire up. They'll sit there for 8 seconds, and then they'll come back down. And that is just enough time for at night for the villager to lay down in bed and record with the world that he has slept. And it's just enough time during the workday for the villager to address his workstation and record to the world that he has worked. And from then on, golems just keep coming. And actually, I'm getting more out of this. So I've got 4 villagers in this and 2 zombies. I'm getting as much iron out of this as I was out of 8 villagers and 2 zombies in my previous build. So I'm getting 330 iron an hour right now. I think it's pretty good for, how simple this farm is. It got a little more complex, obviously, because of the redstone, but it's still a simple 2 hopper timers feeding, an AND switch that basically then fires our pistons up into the air. And I'll walk you through how to add that onto this, okay? But yeah, otherwise it works great. It's been extremely productive. 330, it's well over 7,200, 7,200 iron a day. That's more than I need. So let's go ahead and dive into this. I'll walk you through the changes. In the description will be a timestamped link that you can click on if you've already built this farm and you don't want to make, like you can tell that I've put stone where I used to put glass in some areas. That's to hide the redstone. If you don't really care about that, about hiding your redstone, you can just skip to that timestamp, and we'll start with some of the modifications from there. And then further on down in the video, we will address the addition of our redstone. All right, let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is put down a double chest here, and then we'll put our hoppers in the back. And then I'm going to use glass here. You can use whatever block you want, but along the back side, I'm going to use stone so that I can help hide my redstone when that time comes. Continue with glass here. I'm going to go across this chest with my glass. If you're using a solid block, you can use stairs here instead of glass if you want. But you need to do one or the other in order to get your chest open, okay? Then we're going to come up for, so basically what I do, explained in my previous video, I just basically create enough space between the golem while he is burning and the villagers so that the villagers don't necessarily, he's not in their wheelhouse, and they continue to try and spawn a villager to protect them from their zombie friends. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we'll go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to be for the golem. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be the space between the golems and the villagers. And then I'm going to grab my glass block and go 1, 2 for the villagers, and then put another solid block on top. And this is going to be where our spawn platform, iron golem spawn platform is going to be. All right, so next I want to create basically this outline, a 4x4 outline up here at the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and then fill that in. Leave the 2x2 hole block in 2x2 hole in the center open. And then I'm just going to fill this in. So I'll run my stone all the way up, and I'll run my glass all the way up where I have glass. All right, and we'll be right back. All right, so now that we got our walls built all the way up to our spawning platform area, we're going to come down here. We'll come in front of the chest here. I'm actually going to knock these two out and come in here. We're going to put our lava in here. So grab some signs. And the wall next to your door, you want to come up 2 blocks high from your hoppers and place a sign, and then on the block next to it, and then across the way you want to do the same thing. Okay, grab your lava. You can throw it into one corner, it'll spread all the way across, or you can just completely fill it in. Up to you how much lava you want to use. All right, hop back out and then put those blocks back in. All right, so now what we want to do is start building our platform that we're going to put our villagers on, and our zombies. The floor for that, as you can see back here, is going to be basically where I have this row of blocks starting. But we want to put pistons in, so we're going to go 1 below that. You got to pick 2 opposite corners to put your zombies on, and that's what we're going to surround them with the pistons. So it doesn't really matter which 2 corners as long as they're opposite each other. So I'm going to start here at this corner. You want to go 1 lower than where your floor is going to be. So this is where our floor is going to be. So I'm going to come down here, go 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to come around the other side. Make sure I got floor right here. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so you should have 3 blocks between these and your spawning platform. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to grab your pistons and put them right on top facing upward like this. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and knock these out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fill in our floor. And for that, we're just going to go all the way around with a 3 deep platform. So all the way around. All right, so if we did this right, you should have a 3 deep platform all the way around our tower. Next thing we're going to do is put in the walls. They're going to separate our villagers and our zombies. So we're going to put our zombies right here in these corners between the pistons. So we'll go ahead and lay down some wall here. And in the opposite corner. All right, so then we're going to build the area that our villagers are going to sit in, and what we're going to have is a 3x2 chamber for them. Okay, 3x2 because we want to keep them up against this tower as much as possible because it provides more spawn area on our platform for the iron golem. So the way you're going to lay your chambers out, and we can't get too far into this. Let me grab our bed. Get rid of the lava here. Okay. We can't get too far ahead because you need to place each villager one at a time, make sure they assign themselves to the workstation in their chamber, because they have to actually get to that workstation once a day in order for golems to spawn. So you want to place a bed, place a workstation, any workstation, doesn't really matter. And then you will put your villager in there. Like I said, you can run them up. I run mine up on rail cars from like a villager breeder, something like that. And I'll just step down and run rail up to this platform. That's how I get mine in here. Same thing with the zombies. I'll trap them in a fenced in area and then throw a minecart underneath them and run them up here. But essentially, this is what you're going to give them here to be in. And you want to put them in one at a time. So I'm not going to do all the beds and workstations, just this first one, because I got to get my villagers in here one at a time so they can assign themselves to a bed and tie themselves to their workstation. And then I'll put down another workstation bed, bring a villager up, and that way they're always tied to the bed and workstation in their chamber. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go around here though and finish off what it will look like walls wise. 2, 3. Okay. That way you can kind of get an idea. All right, so I will, like I said, when I bring my villagers and zombies up, I'll add the rest of the beds and the workstations. But this is how you want them laid out, because that way they won't get on top of their bed because they don't have enough room. But they can sleep on it, and otherwise they'll just pace back and forth between here, staying up against this tower, maximizing the out here on their platform, spawning golems. They have more area to spawn golems with. So farther away from they get from the tower, they start losing spawn area out here towards the edge. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to build our spawn platform. So you need to grab your solid block here, and we're just going to come out 8 from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going to do the same thing on the other 3 sides. All right, so once you've got your, I don't know what you call these, outriggers, whatever, but once you've got these columns out 8 blocks from the original 4x4 area we had here, you're going to go ahead and connect the ends. So you're going to come out and then you're going to connect it and go all the way around. So I'll show you the first one here. All right, so just like that, all the way around. All right, so once you got all your ends connected, we're just going to fill in these 4 areas around our center hole, okay? All right, if we did this right, you should have a 20 by 20 platform with a 2 by 2 hole in the middle. So let's go ahead and put our walls on here. We'll come down here and we'll go 2 high all the way around. All right, so that's what it should look like with your wall 2 high all the way around. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab any block you want. This is temporary, so use whatever you want here, but you're going to go from each corner. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and you're just going to cut across, and you're going to do that in each corner. All right, if we did this correctly, you should have 10 blocks in between each corner, the raised corners. What you're going to do now is grab your water, and what you want to do is you want to make sure that each one of these is a source block, and then also one in the corner, okay? So we'll do that all the way around. All right, now that our water's finished, what you want to do is you want to come in here and break out all those corner blocks that you put in. All right, there we go. That's our platform, our spawning platform. It is completely done. So what we need to do now is we'll come down here. I am going to go ahead and get my villagers and my zombies in here, just so you can kind of see what happens and see somehow how some of the mechanics work. Sorry, I'm bumbling over my own words here, but that way you can kind of see as we go along how some of the mechanics are affected by what we're doing, okay? I'll be right back with our villagers and zombies. All right, so we got our zombies and villagers in their positions. One thing I do want to make mention of is you can see I got a name here on my zombie. If you don't name tag your zombies. If when you get 128 blocks away from them, they will despawn instantly. So make sure you tag your zombies. That way they stick around. I went also ahead and put some lights over here in the corners. These blocks the villagers on, as if you remember, are solid blocks. There's 3 of them there. A golem will not spawn because it's only too high here, but I don't want to risk any other, hostile mobs spawning in there. So I'm going to go ahead and light it up. It won't affect our current zombies, but it will prevent other bad boys from spawning in there. So this is how it works. You see how he's freaking out right now. Okay, he is panicked. He wants to run through these glass walls. But if I just, even though they're glass, he's like, ah, and then I pop these glass blocks in and, oh, he's gone. I can see him, but the zombie's gone, right? So he's like, oh, everything's hunky-dory again. His buddies are all panicking, but he can't see that zombie, so he's good. But then the minute I remove those, he goes right back into panicking, okay? So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to accomplish. So the next step is to start building the major modifications to this, which is going to allow these pistons to go up and down on a timed basis. So first thing we're going to want to do is come down here to your pistons, and where you have pistons at, you want to put blocks underneath them with a two blocks down. So leave an air gap in between them for right now. All 8 of your pistons. Okay. All right. And then what you're going to want to do is come down here 1. All right. You can get rid of that one right for now. And fill this in like that. Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2 here. Okay. Or I'm sorry. Yeah. And then you're going to bring this around. Okay. Go 1, 2, then put a second one there too. They're going to do the same thing like on the other side. We'll bring this out and fill all this in. Okay. All right. So that's good for now. We'll eventually build this out a little bit more. For now, this is adequate. So go and grab your torches and throw them on top of these blocks underneath your pistons. And then grab your repeaters, throw them there and there, and then go in the other direction and right there. Grab some redstone and fill in all the other blocks that do not have something on top of them. All right, so that is set up. Now all we're gonna do is set up our timer down at the bottom. And I like to hide it. You don't have to, but I'm gonna hide mine. So we're gonna dig down. We're gonna dig an area down. I'll lay it out here for you. 6. I don't even know how much that is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so a 6 by 11 area. And what we're gonna do is you're gonna dig out 6 blocks down. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll pick up from there when I get back. All right, so now we've got our hole dug, 6 by 11 by 6 deep. We're gonna go ahead and hop down in here, and from the end opposite the tower, you wanna come in here and grab a hopper, and you wanna count back 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, okay, and go ahead and place a hopper. And they're gonna wanna place one next to that as well. And then we're gonna crouch and go into that hopper with another one. Then we're gonna come around here and actually break these and go back into those hoppers by crouching with 2 more hoppers. So you basically have these 2 hoppers facing each other and these 2 hoppers facing each other. If you're familiar with it, we're building a hopper timer. Okay, grab a comparator, 4 comparators, and then some block. And then you're gonna grab some redstone, dust, and then we're gonna grab 4 sticky pistons. For each side. Same thing over there. And then grab a redstone block, throw that there, and a redstone block, throw that there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fill these two with basically a full 5 full stacks of whatever block you want to choose each. And then we're going to add one more after they start spilling into this. And what that's going to do is those 5 stacks will transfer over to here, but one will be left behind. It'll keep this from activating until we're ready. And when we're ready to activate it, we'll pull those extra blocks out. Okay. So let's go ahead and open this one. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll grab this and we'll put 1 in. And then we'll do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an extra one. All right, so that'll work. Get to work. Then what we want to do is come over here with a repeater, 2 repeaters right there, and then 2 repeaters right here, 2 blocks. Throw a torch on each block, and then throw another block on top of those torches. And then just go ahead and run those blocks all the way around. All right, now go ahead and grab your torches again and throw 2 more torches down here and 2 more torches down here. Grab your redstone dust, run it all the way around. Okay, so now what we want to do is come over here and we'll throw a block. Oops, wrong block. We'll throw a block here and here. And then we're going to put a block here and come up and get rid of that one and come across. Throw a torch here, torch there. Throw a repeater here and there. Now let me get my redstone dust and just put your redstone dust in between those torches. Okay, and then we're going to come down here and we're going to put a torch there and a block on top of it. And then what you need to do is knock this out, knock that out. And then somehow I'll get myself in here. All right. Throw a torch on the back side, come up, bring it back out the front, and then put a block there, there, there. Torch, 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 block, torch, block, torch, whoops, torch. Okay. Now if this is wired up right, this should be hot all the time, because then that will keep these pistons down by turning off these torches. And then what we're going to do is we're going to send it a signal about every 25, a little over 2,500 ticks. We're going to send it a signal to basically turn those torches on for about 8 seconds. And that'll give enough time for these villagers, if it's the middle of the night, to grab a quick power nap. And if it's during the workday, to address their workstation. And that's all they have to do. It doesn't have to be a long period of time. It's just enough for the world to save that they have used their workstation and they have slept in their bed. So let's go ahead and get this timer working. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to come over here. Remember, we had the extra block in here. Now we want about 8 seconds, which essentially is one of these hoppers going empty while there's still 20 blocks left in the other. So I'm going to open this. I'm going to take out the block. And then when I take out the block, I'm going to wait till I get about 18 here coming back from that hopper. And then I'm going to switch over and take the other block out. All right. So here we go. That should be pretty close. You can figure it out though, because now these are emptying, okay? And this one is obviously going to switch over before this side does. And so what you can do is watch this, and when you get down to your last stack, just watch this piston over here. And as soon as it moves, see how many you have left. And if it's wrong, then you can add a little bit or take a little bit away. So I'm going to go ahead and sit here and we'll step forward until we get down to that last stack, so you can see in case we do need to make an adjustment. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so our hopper on the right side is almost empty. So I'm going to switch over to this other one and we'll see how many we have left in this stack when this piston over here on my right fires. Hopefully it's 20 blocks. Oh, 22. Okay, so, you know, that's close enough, but I'll go ahead and show you how to make an adjustment. You can do it one of two ways. You can either do it on this side or the other. Essentially, this side fired a little too soon. 2 blocks too soon. All right, so what we need to do is take, let me think about this. So what we need to do is we need it to fire a little slower. So we're going to take 2 blocks from the incoming side. Okay, so I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to take 2 blocks away. We'll see if I get this right. All right, and I'm going to put them back over here. So it should take 2 blocks longer now. And we'll zoom ahead and see how it goes. But so now when this side empties here, there should be 20 blocks left over here. All right, so we'll zoom ahead and check it out. All right, so our other piston should be getting ready to fire, and we'll see how many blocks we have left in here. 6. Oh, look at that, right on the 20 mark. Okay, so we're good there. So this should be working now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to zoom ahead again, but this time I'm going to show you what happens when these pistons in that 8-second gap. I'm going to show you what happens up here, okay? And that way you can kind of see how this works. All right, so our timer is working on its last stack of blocks right now, so it should be coming up any time. You see how they're all panicking like crazy. I went ahead and changed it to nighttime so you can see what they're going to do, but they're just going nuts right now, trying to get away from that zombie. So once this piston pops up, though, they're going to think they are. And there we go. Watch, he'll calm down, and they'll go to bed. And that right there, the world saves that this is their last sleep time, and then it drops and they go back to panicking. So what you got to do is once you get this going, they've got to do that one time each. So they got to do the sleeping once, and then during the daytime, they'll do their work. That piston will pop up during their work time, and they'll address their workstation. And once they do one of each, then your golems will start spawning. And like I said, doing it this way, we're maximizing as much as possible, I think, the panic effect of the villagers, because in a 24,000 tick day, we're only giving up 1,500 ticks to this sleeping and addressing workstation time. These pistons popping up. Outside of that, there's 22,500 ticks that they're being panicked by those zombies. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got this all open right now. I'm going to go ahead and clean all this up. I'm going to enclose this hole. I'm going to wrap a lot of this redstone. I don't like my redstone to be showing. I like to enclose my redstone as much as possible and make it nice and neat and clean. When I come back, after I finish that, I'll show you the golems spawning. And then, we'll take a look and see how it's working. All right? We'll be right back. All right, so as you can see, I've got it all enclosed. I like to hide my redstone as much as possible. It's not the prettiest looking stuff, so I was trying to clean it up that way. Oh, and there's our first golem on time. And so I covered all of our redstones underneath this floor here as well. So yeah, it's working like a charm. Appears to be, I think it's working. I think horse is producing just as fast, if not as faster than pre-release 1. We just had to address this mess of villagers getting an opportunity to sleep and use their workstation. Even with the way we're doing this, they're still getting 95% of their day is still spent panicking, and so I think that's why it's so productive. We're taking 8 seconds every. I don't know what you have to do the math for me. 2,560 ticks divided by 20 ticks per second, but we're basically giving them 8 seconds throughout every so often, so that we catch them in their workday and we catch them in their sleep time, give them those opportunities so they can continue during panic time calling on golems and spawning them on our farm here. So I hope you liked the build. I'm really happy with it myself. I've never had to use redstone in an iron farm before, but I think I didn't think it was overly cumbersome for what we're doing here. Probably the hardest resource to get will be for any survival player will be the sticky pistons, trying to get the slime balls. But just head to your local swamp, or if you've already got your mine down at Bedrock, go ahead and try and maybe see if you could create an area where you can spawn some slimes. And outside of that, the hardest part is still getting your villagers. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button. Most of all, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. Helps us continue to grow. Otherwise, have a good day, and we'll see you next time.